Welcome back. I'm Kim Bailey, she's Fulyana Osborne, and we're talking once again with Josh and Krystle Hockley, elite triathletes, about how they manage their lives. This is part 2 of a 3-part discussion, and as with the first part, Fulyana's comments are at the end of today's discussion. In the discussion today, we talk about setbacks and injuries, about managing time, and about balancing life and business time. And also, Josh goes into some detail about the benefits of social media in terms of motivation and marketing. And lastly, they both talk about giving back to the sport and to others who are just starting out their journey in triathlon. We talked a little bit about setbacks. Has there been a time where you've struggled with a setback, where you have really had to sit down and do a genuine assessment of, is it worth it? What am I going to gain from it? How long is it going to take? Where do I go from here?
I'd like to be the first to answer this, and I'd like to be honest with the audience. At the start of the year, I made a goal to win my age group at Ironman Australia this year, which I ended up finishing second. So by 30 seconds.
After how many hours?
9 hours and 23 minutes.
At the start of the year, I was like, I'm setting this goal and I'm crushing it and nothing in this world is going to stop me. There's a big thing that plays a part in our racing is the way we eat and our diet. And there's a specific way that there's allegations out there that if you eat this way, you actually race faster.
The low carb,
high fat diet, that's right. Getting your metabolism burning on fat rather than burning carbohydrates. Which I've had success on it, I really have. Because I have been successful on it, I went down that path again at the start of the year. And like I said, when I set goals, I'm out to achieve them. Nothing in this world stopping me. So when I set that goal for Ironman, that was it. I was on that track. Nothing was going to stop me. But the setback that we're talking about is because I took the diet so serious, I wasn't feeding my body quite as much carbs that I should have been. I actually had a little bit of a breakdown and I found myself in the doctors, and then I had to go and get counselling just because it just threw my body out of balance, and I was just so focused on achieving my goals, and like I said, nothing was going to stop me. So
also, just to add in there, also what contributed to it was because he only just started his business. There was a lot of stress from that, which it also was impacting. Yeah, so that was probably the first and only setback I've ever had where I kind of went, oh my God, I'm sitting in a counsellor's room getting counselled about a hobby that I don't even get paid for. Like, what's going on with my life? Am I too competitive? What's going on here? So that was the first time that I went, hang on, I need to step back here and think what's important to me in my life. And then I was like, well, Krystle's the most important thing in my life. Is it affecting my marriage? Is it affecting my life? And just like we said again, we've been saying it all day, being self-aware of that. I ended up doing one visit to the counsellor, and the second time I went back, they asked me what I was doing in the room, told me I was perfectly healthy. That was me being self-aware and going, well, I believe I can sort things out in my life. And understanding that it was a setback, and I was like, well, I need to sort this out as soon as possible so I can get back on track to achieving my goals.
Yeah. It's very good of you to share that with us, because it's hard to talk about the things that don't go as well as we would expect. But I think that when we do talk about them, there's always someone who can learn from them. And all it does is show everyone that these situations occur to everybody and that you can come away from them. You do need outside assistance for all of these things. It's not the wrong thing to do to look for that outside assistance, but at the same time, you need to take control of it at some point.
Well, I just straight away said I need to sort this out. So I went straight to the doctors and told him what was going on, and he helped me straight away. When I told my coach turned around, he's like, mate, I'm so proud of you. He's like, I'm just really stunned. Like, not that he didn't expect me to be able to walk myself into the doctors and ask for help, but he's just like, mate, not many people would be able to do that. They'd find themselves developing depression or finding themselves with a bottle.
They look for the excuses.
But,
or they give up. So that's a huge step and a really important step that you've shared with us. No. So we do appreciate that. Now, Krystle, tell us what's happened. Setbacks.
Oh, my setback. I've had a pretty big setback this year when just before what was meant to be my A race was Sunshine Coast. I got quite sick, a week out of race day, and I think that's what happens. It's a fine line between being fit and also weight-wise. Once you drop a bit of weight, you can get sick quite easily, and I ended up quite sick about a week out of my race. I didn't know how I was going to finish it. I guess that taught me was appreciate what you've done. You've done the training. You can't change anything. Just take one day at a time and make the decision, a day or two out of race day. Is it going to be detrimental to your health to do the race? Got to that point, no, it wasn't. I got through the race, I was fine. And just take all the positives out of, at least I could finish the race. I had a good holiday. I went away with friends, all that type of stuff. Yeah, I didn't achieve the goal I wanted to race time-wise, but at the end of the day,
there were other things
to take out of that. I ended up getting sick again after the race a bit, but I just managed that, and I thought it's really hard, especially when you train a lot, when you get sick, to not train, because what do you do with yourself when you're training up to 20 hours a week? You're like, that's a lot of spare time. But then I just thought, okay, I'm sick, all right, I've just focused on getting myself healthy again, getting myself fit where I should be health-wise, and then move forward and then learn from that as well. So now I know what went wrong, and I look back on what I did. Okay, I'll take that. That's probably what affected me getting sick. Could have just been a number of things, and then next time, make sure I don't do that.
So that it interests me, because I know that prior to taking up the sport, your eating patterns were very different from one another.
Still are. Very different.
And you are out in all weathers, pushing your bodies hard. How do you keep yourself healthy?
Probably one of the biggest things for me, sleep is a very important thing. Sleep, water, and generally just trying to eat good food and just being self-aware. If you do start to feel sick, don't push yourself. There's a line between, okay, just I feel sick, it's an excuse, I'm not going to train, but just really triathlon's taught me to be in touch with my body. So if I feel like I'm getting an injury, come on, okay, I'm not going to run today because I can feel there's something happening there. I'll go and do a swim instead, and I'll go to the physio and get it sorted out. Or if I'm starting to feel sick, let's monitor this, and let's drop the training back a bit for a couple of days or whatever. So I think the problem is a lot of people, especially in this sport, is they do set the goal to do the triathlon, and then they're so focused on getting to that race that they just want to complete every single training session 100%. But not be realistic about the whole situation as well, and then that's how they end up getting sick. So for me, I guess it's just really being switched on with everything and
self-aware.
Listening to your body.
Just to clarify, Krystle's not into meat. Although I think sometimes now chicken finds a place on the plate.
Occasionally.
And I guess that's probably fairly interesting for a lot of people to think that you can pursue this kind of activity that is so reliant on your body by not having what we would have been brought up to think of as the right kind of food to fuel your body. And I know that you, Josh, you have a very different outlook on food.
Yeah, the punching gloves definitely come off when it's dinner time in the kitchen with Krystle and I, because we both eat very different. I think the one thing that Krystle and I have got we love achieving our goals, but the one thing that we do love about our sport is it does generate all the ingredients to have a healthy lifestyle. We do go and get blood tests every 8 weeks and keep an eye on our levels. We do go to the chiropractor, go to the physio. We do eat healthy. And once you form that habit and it's just a day-to-day habit, it's like sometimes we look at each other and we're like, oh, when last were we sick? Back in the day we used to laugh about it, but now it's like, well, that's just because we do everything that you should do to stay healthy. I understand that some people do have sicknesses and stuff that's really hard to get rid of, but just the day-to-day, like the flu and all that, that's probably one thing to put on what Krystle said, is be really aware of where your body was as you do get sick. I know sometimes when Krystle's getting ready for a race and she's ready to crush her goals, I'll look at her and I'm like, oh, be careful right now, babe, you're looking a little bit fit, but you're looking a little bit skinny.
Yeah.
And we've found with Krystle that if she gets really lean for a race, she normally gets the flu. And
so there's a level. There's a level. Definitely a balance.
Yeah, there's definitely. And that's all about what I said 15 minutes ago about I'm all for setbacks. Setbacks, you learn so much from it. We know.
And you don't know when that setback's going to help you in the future. You might be prepping for a massive race and use that information and go, okay, I know that I can't push my body to that level or that weight or whatever. And then that's going to help me achieve another goal in the future.
Which also comes into being, we talked just before we started recording about injuries and how you feel during a race and knowing what you're going to feel after the race, because Josh is here with band-aids and blister blocks all over his feet at the moment from yesterday's race, which I have to say he did very well in. But that development of knowing your body and as you were saying, of knowing that this is going to happen in a few days' time and either I'm going to be able to deal with it or I'm not, and making the backward decision making to say, do I push harder, or no, this is all I can do because I won't be able to cope with the result further down the track.
So that's another challenge in itself. As an inexperienced athlete, and you start to feel these niggles and pains during a race, because you're unaware of what it's going to do, you kind of choose to ignore it because of the thrill to win or the passion to win. Where I found yesterday, I felt things happening and I'm like, oh no, this is going to hurt. So then I found I had to dig deeper to ignore the information that I knew what was going to happen. So back in the day, I was kind of like, oh, what's that? What's happening to my calf muscle? Oh, just push through it. Where yesterday I'm like, I know if I keep going at this intensity, it's going to cause me a lot of grief. So yeah, I did find myself yesterday going, oh, I wish I didn't know this. Like, I wish I wasn't aware of this.
But when you are, you use the information.
I think during a race, it's difficult because you got to learn. You got to be mentally strong to ignore that. But there's a very big difference when you're in training. That's the thing. As young athletes, say if I'm coaching an athlete, someone could be like, oh, my foot's sore. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to run on it for a week. You're 12 to 13 weeks out of a race day. We're not going to run on that. They get all funny about it and they go, oh no, I need to run. But then when they feel that niggle on race day, when it's like, it's a race, go out and crush your goals, they quit. So it's really funny.
Two messages about how you manage that situation. I want to now talk about juggling time, managing time and priorities and goals and achievements and celebrations and setbacks and injuries and all of those things. You've got a whole host of things that happen in your lives. Apart from the training and the actual sport itself, there's the businesses and work and social life. How do you find a balance?
Oh, I'm definitely going to hand this over to Krystle because I think Krystle's definitely the master of juggling time and juggling life. She's the queen of it. So, babe, I think you deserve to answer this because I don't know how you do the things that you do.
I guess it's just prioritising. You've got to really figure out what's important in your life. For me,
So just run through what are all your activities before we hear what Josh's are, and then we'll match the two together. So you have work, paid employment that you do.
So I work as a licensed conveyancer. So I do that 4 days a week. Then I've got my own spray tan business that I do at home after hours, and sometimes duck home in my lunch break and do the odd one or two. Then we've got the triathlon, which is probably anywhere between 15, 20 hours of training a week. And I've just started coaching. Well, we're coaching a couple of people as well, helping them in the sport. So that's pretty much.
And social activities like family and.
Yeah, we try to squeeze those in. No, we always make time to.
That's the hardest.
Go to the family thing. You've got to make time for that. But in regards to social things, I guess we don't. Or we always we'll head out, go out for dinner, just me and Josh a bit. The movies and stuff like that after a big day of training.
So apart from the time that you're training together or racing or working together, that you still make time that is just time out?
In saying that as well, our training is a lot of social as well, because we might go out for 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday for a bike ride, but we might have 3 or 4 of our friends with us, because we'll go to a coffee shop, have breakfast or whatever, rather than, I guess people would eat at a
combined
coffee shop.
activities,
All my activities, I have to say I'm very grateful for everything that I have in my life, and that's thanks to Krystle. She allows me to do and achieve all the goals that I achieve. Without her, I wouldn't be able to do it. she definitely does more stuff in her week than I do. I train anywhere between 18 to 25 hours a week. Training's pretty much my priority.
Sometimes I have to balance that out.
Sometimes she Krystle definitely has to remind me.
There are some lawns that need to be mowed.
Yeah, so I really enjoy racing. I enjoy the lifestyle. I enjoy everything. So I quit my high-paid and salary job last year in Sydney, where I was working 40 to 60 hours a week, and I started up my local lawn mowing business, which is very flexible and seems to allow me to train like a professional athlete. Yeah, I normally train 2 hours in the morning, and then I normally go out and mow some lawns. I'll tell Krystle I'm always mowing a few more than what I normally do. And then in the afternoon I normally do another 2 to 3 hours training, depending on how far out of a race I am. Being Krystle's assistant coach and helping Krystle achieve her goals too takes up a little bit of my time. Yeah. And other than that, I also help a couple of athletes as well.
Well, I know you're fairly active on social media from time to time,
yeah.
Particularly around race weekends.
Yeah.
Do you find that is a benefit to you in keeping contact with people?
Yeah, 100%, heaps. You meet people, race weekends so full on, it is like you're so focused, everyone's there to achieve their goals, but you do meet people. And it's like, hey, how you going? Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then kind of leave them, but then you do find them on social media and they may be from Western Australia.
Yeah.
And then we do, like, we post photos and we post stuff on social media, we do tweets and all that, and then we find out that our friends are doing the same race, so then we can talk to each other through social media to the lead up to the race.
Is there motivation there as well?
Yeah, a lot of
especially
the
competitors. Yeah, for sure.
But even just people
it's the head game.
It is.
I'm not feeling quite as good as I should.
There's always times when I tell social media that I'm feeling a lot stronger than what I normally am. You never know who's listening.
That's it.
Yeah, good as well. Like even people that aren't doing triathlon and things like that. To myself, I think, people must just be getting sick of all these triathlon posts. But I'll see people down the street and they'll just be like, oh, it's so good to see you doing this and that. It motivates me to get out there and do stuff. And I think, well, at the end of the day, I don't care about the 100 people that don't want to see my post. If it helps one person get motivated, then I guess that's all that really matters.
Social media does play a big part in Krystle and I's life at the moment. We have achieved a lot of goals racing. So one of my new goals that I've set is being one of the most successful amateur age group athletes. So my focus now is sponsorships.
Yep.
I use social media to attract sponsors, and my results get the sponsors, but I normally make a couple of cheeky little photos or something on social media just before the race, just so someone sees it, and then I go out, I do the race, I get the results that I'm after, and then I normally post again either that afternoon or the next day, and then that person that I'm trying to get attention to goes, oh, that guy was talking it up on Friday. Oh, wow, he actually did what he said he was going to do. I might keep an eye on this guy. And it really helps to attract people. So that's...
Well, you do have to market yourself. And in any arena, you've got to market yourself, regardless of whether you're looking for sponsorship in terms of dollars or goods in kind or just support in a business sense.
Yeah.
That marketing has become part of how you present yourself, and if you're using social media to do that, it's only going to present you in the way that you want it to be. But I know that in that sense, even though you're marketing yourself, that you're also giving back. You're both doing some coaching, but there's giving back in lots of other ways. Now, I've heard other stories about how you've been giving back to people who wouldn't have expected it in ways that you probably don't even recognise yourself. So is the giving back a conscious thing that you do, or is it just become part of how you want to share your excitement of what you're doing and how you're feeling?
It's both, isn't it? Like, you meet people and they're just, you're always all over social media, you're always putting yourself out there, and I think, well, why not? Like, I like...
If anyone can wear pink like Krystle can... You would know. Anyone who sees her riding past, you know what it's like when a bunch of bike riders come past. You can't pick out whether they're male or female, but we always know when it's Krystle. If it's not the pink bike, it's the pink everything else.
Yeah, that was my number one priority when I first started triathlon. I needed my bike to be pink, and Josh nor my coach understood the necessity there. But Anyway.
Yes. Back to the question. Giving back, yes.
I really like to give back. Like, I get a lot out of, sometimes, and I said this to Josh the other day, I sometimes get more out of seeing other people achieve their goals than me achieve my goals. Like the girl I've been helping out with coaching, like, I like to see her do well, and I want her to do well, and that's, I think if you give back, what you get back is more than, what you give most of the time.
Now, just before Josh says anything, I've just observed the most amazing thing, because a motorbike went past and he didn't even look out the window to see what it was.
No.
This would not have happened 5 years ago.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It's all about goal setting, new goals and new motivation, So, yes.
It's a racing bike, though.
That's right.
It's a road racing bike.
For the record, I did notice it was black.
Okay. I just didn't see the eye. So, giving back, Josh.
Giving back, be honest, I do struggle a little bit, as in I do like to give back, I do love to help people, but this is something that I'm actually going through at the moment. Two things that I want to talk about is when I do give back is I'm helping a young athlete now, or he's the same age as me, but he's like an inexperienced athlete, young in the sport. I do get that, I have to go through this all again. I didn't realise how far depth I was in the sport and how he was just starting, and it's like I'm teaching him stuff and I'm like, oh wow, I've got to go through this again. Being patient with him to learn has taught me I've had to learn to be like, well, he's just starting out, I've got to learn. But giving back, I find that it's very important. You give back, like Krystle said, you do get stuff back. I do enjoy giving it back. Sometimes I just got to be self-aware that my goals aren't just the only goals. With my athlete that I coach, I'm so focused on my race that I've got to be focused on his race as well and make sure that he has the best race as possible. It's a tricky one.
So do you find it, when you're in that situation, is it draining for you? Do you resent?
No, I don't find it draining. Maybe it falls into the category as time consuming. I have to say, Krystle and my life is pretty crazy, and I think if one thing tips, and it kind of has that snowball effect. Yeah. When everything's rolling in our life, it's perfect. Yep. But then if something happens and it's like, oh, damn, that happened, it kind of snowballs. When we're just worrying about ourselves, it's perfect. But then when we started coaching other people and then they needed attention, it's kind of like, oh, hang on, I need to be focusing on this, on myself, but now I've got to focus on them. Just a little bit frustrating on the time.
So now that you're in that role of being coaches to other people, does it make you think about the time that you buy from your own coaches?
100%.
Yeah. It also helps me, like for me, I learn from the way that my coach coaches, and then I apply that to, okay, I like that he does this or this and that.
And the assistant coach is just, there's nothing really you can learn from the assistant coach.
No, not really.
Is he going to make you train hard tomorrow?
She'll ask me a question.
Payback.
In trouble tomorrow.
As elite athletes, Krystle and Josh are very aware of the importance of staying fit and how you need to eat the right food, how you need to have enough rest and keep yourself in top shape. However, it's also very tempting at times to say, well, here's my goal. I'm so focused on my goal that I'm going to ignore the fact that I've got a sore ankle and just keep going. Now, that's a big lesson for us in all walks of life, because when we're working, we tend to ignore the signs that we're overtired. We sort of work hard and we wear that as a badge of honor, that I work hard and I did so many hours. And you forget that you become sleep deprived. So you go, say, into an office environment or into any other field, and your productivity had suffered because you haven't had enough sleep. And also your reaction to things like other people's comments or your tolerance level. And in some professions, if you're doing work with your hands. So you really got to be very alert. So the lesson here is think as an athlete, treat your body with respect. Don't use me as an example, mind. I don't do that, but I should. And certainly be focused on your goal, but be focused on your total being, and that is staying fit, eating well, sleeping enough, and that will make you achieve your goals even more rather than give you setbacks. In the event, as we heard, that you get sick and that's beyond your control, attend to it quickly, attend to it pragmatically. Josh was incredible in the way he handled his situation, and I think we all could learn a lesson from that, as been said. Now, the other thing is that I thought was very, very important was the pleasure in which Josh and Krystle get from giving back, from helping others. But also, there is a lesson to know not to overstretch oneself, in a sense that then you're not helping others and yourself, because you're spreading yourself thin and you're making yourself stressed and worried. So in that sense, yeah, do give, but again, the key word in all of this is balance. You need to keep up your balance. That's what I heard, that's what I learned from the experience that we've got from Josh and Krystle, and I really, really appreciate that contribution.
I want to echo the thanks that Fulyana has given to Josh and Krystle for sharing their experiences with us today. I'm Kim Bailey, she's Fulyana Osborne, and this is Inside Exec.